So this is how I was able to change a beginner's life with Shopify dropshipping during 2022, because this beginner's now gone on to generating just over $600,000 in revenue with around about a 28% profit margin, and now they are full-time with their dropshipping and e-commerce store. Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Mohsin, known as the ECOM King, and this is going to be a very special video because I'm going to be showing you the exact journey that I took this beginner on to change their life in 2022 with Shopify dropshipping. And you keep probably hearing people saying, oh, Shopify dropshipping's dead, dropshipping's dead. This video really does prove that statement is completely inaccurate, because this beginner's now gone on to achieving just over $600,000 in revenue with around about a 28% profit margin, and now they've been able to quit their job and go full-time with their e-commerce and dropshipping store. Now, the whole purpose of today's video is to teach you guys the exact strategy we use for this beginner so you guys can replicate this for your own Shopify dropshipping store, because I do truly believe that a lot of you guys that are watching this video are beginners and haven't seen success yet. So I'm going to be providing you with a proven success formula that has already worked for a beginner. So what I'm going to be showing you guys and teaching you guys in today's video is I'm going to be starting off by showing you the store analytics for all the proof, and then I'm going to be showing you all the apps used, all the sales channels used, and then I'm going to be going over how we found the product, how we found the niche, how the website was designed, and then I'm going to be showing you guys how we ran the ads, what we had to do for the ads to make them very successful, and all the testing involved in this store to then making it a successful dropshipping store. And to make this video even better, I'm going to invite this beginner onto an interview, and the beginner is called Nick. So I'm going to be getting him on an interview, and I'm going to be asking him loads of questions about his journey so far this year, because it has been a very emotional journey, and I've seen Nick have a few breakdowns throughout his journey this year, because I do understand that a lot of you guys that are watching this have had emotional breakdowns, have been emotional or upset within your journey, and this video is going to really touch with you because you're going to see other beginners that have had to go through this as well to see success at the end. Because I do understand that a lot of you guys that watch my YouTube channel find it sometimes hard to relate to me, because you guys now see me being successful and you weren't able to see what I had to go through to see success, and that's why it's important to see a beginner recently had to go through the same journey that I had to go through. So if you appreciate me making this video for you guys and getting Nick on board to really teach you guys everything that we had to do this year to see the success, make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment, and let me know what you thought of today's video. So the first thing that I want to do with you guys is show you all of the proof, because I know there's going to be a lot of people watching this that are going to find this very hard to believe. So as you guys can see on the screen, I'm inside of the Shopify analytics, and you guys can see total sales month to date. So it's currently November, and this is from the 1st of November to the 28th of November. And you can see we've done a $377,000 in revenue, which is a modest amount. Now, this is because of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But if I show you year to date, you guys can also see we've done around about $611,000, with draft orders only being $581, because I know there's going to be people out there saying, what if these are all draft orders? You can see all of the revenue has been done properly, and you guys can also see the chart at the bottom showing you that throughout the majority of this year there wasn't really much activity, there wasn't really much sales, and then as soon as Q4 came, September, the store absolutely blew up. Now, if I explain exactly why this graph looks like this and why there's a massive incline during Q4, we started working with Nick at around about March 2022, me and my mentoring company, and you guys can see here the sales weren't crazy. It was very steady and very slow. Now, throughout this time period, we were teaching Nick all the principles that I'm going to be teaching you guys today, like how to do Google ads properly, how to do Facebook ads, how to test offers, all of these cool things. So it took time for him to learn these things and get them into practice. And something that I said to him was, the most important time of the year is Q4. So we were currently in Q2. So if you can learn all the skills for Q4 and get them in action, then you're going to make a lot of money. And as you guys can see, exactly what I said to him about Q4 and getting the skills ready did work to his favor. Now, I want to make this extremely clear. During this process here where I'm scrolling through just before Q4, from Q2 to Q3, Nick had multiple breakdowns, multiple emotional problems, and really felt like quitting in certain aspects. I don't want you guys to watch this video and think, wow, the journey Nick had was amazing, everything was all good for him. No, he went through a lot of hard problems and hurdles. Now, if we just look at the last 90 days in sales, you guys can see the numbers are really impressive because it's done around about $479,000. And this is because of Q4 and because his niche is a winter niche. So that's why it's all coming together really nicely. If we take a look at sales by social source, this will show you where the sales have come from. You can see $205,000 has come from Instagram, $87,000 has come from Facebook, and a very small amount's come from YouTube, Messenger, and TikTok. And that's because we tested these platforms out and they didn't work really well. So that's why there's only a small amount on there. Now, where the rest of the revenue have come from, and for some reason Shopify doesn't track it very well, is Google Ads. Google Ads is one of the main platforms for this store, and I'm going to be going over that in a little bit. And also email marketing and text message marketing, remarketing is also where a lot of the numbers have come from. Now, I've shown you guys all of the numbers and all of the proof just to prove to you guys that this is Nick's store and this isn't just some random store by some random person. If we go over to where it says settings, and if we go over to where it says users and permissions, you guys are going to see here store owner Nick Smith. This is the store owner and this is Nick's store. So with all the proof out of the way, let's get on to what apps are used on this store and the purpose of them and how it's actually helped with the success of this business. The first app is Be Profit, and this is the app that I recommend everyone uses because this app calculates how much money you're actually making because it can integrate with Google Shopping, Facebook Marketing, all your expenses, and it works out if you're making profit or if you're making losses. So it's a really good app. The next app is called Limio, and it's an all-in-one ABE testing app. So this app is extremely powerful, and I don't see many people online talking about it. And what this app enables you to do is it enables you to test different offers without damaging your landing page. So let's say you want to test different price offers. So let's say you don't know which price will work best for your product and which one will get the most conversions. Using an app like this will enable you to do it without damaging your landing page that people will buy from. And it will also let you test things like different offers. So which offer is more compelling for your consumer? So for example, is it a buy one, get one free? Is it buy something and get a free ebook? So you can test different offers, different prices on this app, which is extremely powerful. And this is one of the main reasons for the success with this store because of how much testing we went through to find the proven formula. So if you haven't already tried this before, this is me telling you right now, download this app. I've got no affiliation with them. I've got no sponsorship with them. This is me telling you to use it because it's going to help you find what works best for your product or your niche. Next app is called ShipBob Fulfillment. So this is basically once you find a successful product, you order it in bulk, you need a fulfillment center. ShipBob's one of the companies that we've used for many years. Now, the next one is called Bundle Bear. So this helps you do bundles. So for example, if you buy 3, you get 10% off. So this is the app that we use for volume discounts. Then we've also got unlimited bundles and discounts. So we test different ones to see which one we like the most. Then you've got Size Chart Recommender. Now this app is designed for people that are selling things in the fashion world or the wearable world, meaning that you'd have to wear the product. Now this isn't really a fashion store. This is more of something you have to wear to do something. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to give the product away. But what basically this is it helps recommend the right size for the person that's going to buy it. Because the last thing you want if you're a fashion seller or you're a wearable seller is you want people to buy the right size so then you don't get high exchanges or high returns. So the next app is Slide Cart Drawer, and this enables different sliders on your website for the cart to see which way works better. Is it better to have it sliding from the left, sliding from the right, sliding from the top? Which one helps with the conversion rate? Then we've got Trackify Sync PayPal Track, and this helps track all your tracking numbers on PayPal. And then you've got here Google Shopping Feed. So again, Google Shopping is very powerful for us. So that's where we've got this. Then we've got Pagefly Landing Page Builder because this website was built on Pagefly. And then you've got Pre-Order Now, WAD. So we also have a pre-order model for this website because we are now going into private labeling and we have multiple options for our product. And this is one of the biggest gems you're ever going to hear when it comes to e-commerce and dropshipping. So let's say you are going into buying in bulk and you've got confidence in your product, but your product has 5 different variants because there's 5 different colors or 5 different options. Let's say only 2 of those options are the best sellers and the other 3, some people buy them now and again. That means there's high risk for those other 3 options. Now, what you can do is if you know there's 3 options that are high risk because not many people buy them, then what you can do is you can put them on a pre-order model. That way you don't need to risk inventory on the options that are not certain when it comes to selling. And this is a great way to reduce risk and to keep profits really well. Then the next app we've got is called Lucky Orange, mentioned, this is a heat map showing you exactly the behavior people are taking on your website to see where they would bounce off the website, where they would leave their checkout. And this is the most important app you can download because it's going to help you understand what part of the funnel isn't working and where you can fix it. And when you start a Shopify dropshipping store, the first 2 months of you running that store, or the first few weeks of running that store, it's all about testing, getting the feedback, and then enabling it back into your business. The next app is Easy Gift, and this is an automatic add to cart. So let's say you want to give people a free option. This is an automatic way to add it to their cart without them having to do it. Then we've got Sweet Upsell, and this app is designed for loads of different ways you can upsell people on your website so you can increase the average order value. And then we've also got CJ Dropshipping installed because CJ Dropshipping was the supplier that we started with for this store. And like I've always said to you guys before about who's the best supplier, it really depends on your product. So CJ was the best for this product, so we went with them. And then we've got Tido Live Chat, and I can't explain to you guys how important Tido Live Chat is. This is designed to keep your customers happy after they've bought the product and to increase the lifetime of them being a customer on your store. Then we've got Klaviyo, which is email marketing, and I can't explain this to you guys enough. Email marketing is so important. I feel like it's such a boring thing, and I do agree it's so boring and is SMS. But if you don't have it set up properly, you're leaving literally tens of thousands of dollars on the table. So you need to have Klaviyo set up, and you need to have SMS bump set up. And I'll leave a link in the description where I teach you guys how to do this for 40 minutes. So those were all the apps installed on the Shopify store. Now, not all of these apps you're going to need to start with. Some of them you need to download after you start to scale your business, but these are so important throughout your journey. So if there's any apps that I've talked about today, there'll be a link in the description where it takes you to my deals page, where on certain apps that I've shown you today, you'll get extra benefits like extra free trials or discounts. So make sure you check it out. And if you're also thinking about starting a Shopify store, then make sure you use my link in the description, because if you use my link, all you've got to do is pay $1, just one single dollar, and you're going to get 3 months for basically free. So instead of paying $29.99 for 3 months, you pay $1 for 3 months. So make sure you get the most of that benefit whilst it lasts, because I can't promise it's going to be there forever. So now that moves us on to how we found the product and how we decided on a niche that we knew was going to do well. First thing that we did is we went to a website called Peakster. Now, we didn't use Peakster to find the product. This is where things get interesting. We used Peakster as an index to find out what isn't popular and to sell something that isn't popular. So as you guys can see, if you go to the winner section of Peakster, now you can do this on ECOM Hunt. Now you can use this method on all of the leading industry websites when it comes to finding winning products like Peakster, because what you're going to do is you're going to go to their winners section and you're going to go to niches, and you're going to look through these and you're going to say to yourself, which ones have the most products? So for example, beauty has 394 products listed. So that means that there's 394 products listed in this index. If we keep scrolling down, home and garden has 442. Now, what does this mean? This means that there's loads and loads of products being indexed into these websites for that niche, which means more and more people are going to be looking at those products instead of the products, for example, only 6. For example, one of these down here, shoes, 16. For example, security and protection, 24. So we literally used websites like Peakster, ECOM Hunt to find the most popular niches and avoid them and get rid of them and find niches that are not popular on these indexes. Now, once we did that method, we then found the niche that we wanted to potentially get involved in. Now, as you guys can see on my screen, I'm on site AliExpress and I've typed in fishing gear or fishing gears. Now, this isn't the niche that we've gone into, but it is a very similar niche in terms of the audience that would buy these are very similar to the audience that are buying the product on Nick's website. So this is just an example of a similar audience. Now, why am I telling you about fishing gear? Fishing gear is an industry that not many dropshippers get involved in. Now, the reason why they don't get involved in this niche is because they don't see it as an attractive niche. They would rather go for beauty products, electronical products. Now, the fishing niche actually is one of the best niches in dropshipping, and it is one of the niches that I made a lot of money in my early days. Now, for example, you can see this has got 4.9 star reviews, 5,600 orders sold. You can see here 4.8 star reviews, 86 sold. And the reason why this is important is because a lot of the products in the fishing niche are high quality products. Not just that, but the people that buy fishing products are older people. They've got more money than most people, meaning that they're more likely to buy the product because they've got the money to buy it, and because because they're older, they're more mature, they don't mind spending the money. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is niches like this one that have this type of audience are extremely easy to sell to, and you can also sell higher ticket products to them because they've got the money to do it. And the other thing is, if you want to be profitable in e-commerce and dropshipping, if you step into the higher ticket products, you're more likely to see actual profit success and actually make a full-time living off it because the margins are a lot bigger. So the thing that I say to most people is, if you're going to sell cheap products, then you need to sell them organically, or you need to find a method that is really cheap, or you need to sell more expensive products and then you can spend money on advertising. Those are the two ways to maximize profits for two types of products. So if you're watching this video right now, I want you guys to really think to yourself, what niche can you think of that is not saturated, that people try and avoid or people don't think about? Think about that niche and research it. All you've got to do is type in the niche's name in AliExpress, type in whatever the niche name is, accessory, whatever the niche name is, so forth, and just scroll through AliExpress till you find a product that's got a decent amount of orders and good star reviews. So that moves us on to how we set up the website. So the website was just called a generic niche website, meaning that it was a niche, but everything that we sold within that niche was generic. So we could sell the accessories version of that niche, we could sell everything within that niche, and that's what gave us great upsells and cross sells. And the website was built on Pagefly, and I've actually created a 1-hour tutorial teaching you guys how to build literally a very similar store using Pagefly. So I'll leave a link to that in the description, and that's why I'm not going to be going over it today, because number one, I don't want to reveal the store and the brand because I don't want you guys to copy it, and number two, I've already created a video showing you guys literally how to build the similar store, which is around about 90% as similar to the one that we're using now. So now that moves us on to how we advertise the products on this dropshipping store initially when we first started. So when we first started, we used platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Snapchat. So those are the main platforms that we first started on. And remember, this was with cold traffic, meaning that no one's ever seen the store before. So we had to get traffic to the store, and we had to do it using cold traffic methods. Now, this is really important to take notice of, because when we started to get warm traffic, our strategy completely changed. Now, when it came to creatives for the ad strategy, now creatives meaning the videos, the images of the product, all of it was done in-house, meaning that it was all our own unique content, and none of it was ripped off AliExpress, on Alibaba, or any other Chinese supplier website. All the content was ours, and how we did this was we ordered the sample of the product from our supplier, and we got it to Nick's house. So Nick got the product to his house, and he literally created all the content himself with his smartphone. So he's got a smartphone, and it's an Android smartphone, and this isn't hate for Android users, but this is to tell you that he literally just used his smartphone to create video content, to create image content, and he did it all himself. And the reason why he did that was, one, to save money. Number two, unique content isn't going to get you banned on advertisement platforms, and that way you don't need to worry long term about your ad accounts getting destroyed. And I would say that this is one of the biggest problems with beginners. They do not get unique content, and they just rip it off online, or they copy somebody else's, and then they wonder to themselves, why is my product not worth testing? Why is my product dead? Because you didn't put the effort in to even get unique content. And I'm sorry to tell you guys, but dropshipping has changed a lot, and you can't get away anymore with ripping people's content off and using it for yourself. Now, whilst Nick was making his creatives, meaning his content, videos, images, and so forth, and his ad copies, he was doing multiple offers. So for his product, when he created the content, he would design 20 content versions of each offer. So let's say we tested 5 offers, which we actually did test 5 offers. He would create 20 content types for each offer. That way he had lots of content and offers to test on his ad to see which was the winning offer and which was the winning content. When most people start dropshipping and try ads, they only run one offer and really poor amount of content, and then they wonder why they can't see success. Now, whilst doing all of that content testing and all that offer testing, we were also testing price offers, which price would work the best, and that's why we use the app Limio to test the price offers. So I want to quickly show you a Facebook Ads Manager and explain this a little bit more for you guys. Now, I do want to make it very clear that this isn't Nick's business manager. This is my own business manager for one of my other e-commerce stores, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the same strategy we use here, we use for Nick's brand as well. So it's all the same. Now, as you guys can see, there's loads of different names for the campaign. So you can see here, we've called it hot, copy 6 pixel. So you can see how we've named it. Then you can see here stacked interest. So you can see with all of our different campaigns on this ad account, there's loads of different ways we've strategized it. Carousel cost cap. So you can see here there's loads of different ways we've done this. Best products all in one campaign. Now I'm showing you this to show you that it's not as simple as just following an ad strategy. Now a lot of you guys are going to say, Cam, what was the ad strategy? The ad strategy is the same ad strategy that I've been teaching on this YouTube channel for over a year, almost 2 years now. The ad strategy is the exact same. There's not much different to it. The only thing we did that most people don't do is test offers aggressively. We literally had 4 different campaigns for 4 different offers. We had 4 different campaigns for 4 different price ranges. Nick would create content every single week. So every single week, he would create new content for his product to test on the ads manager. So if you're just creating content once and that's it, and you're just letting it run for weeks on weeks on weeks and not creating more, then that's another mistake you've taken. You should be creating content every single week. And there is no excuse why you shouldn't be making content. Now, when we were running ads on Facebook, we were testing TikTok types of content, which is things like Instagram Reels, which is 9:16. And we were also creating content for TikTok and we'd repurpose it for Facebook. So you can do that. You can test that. So if you're creating ads for TikTok, you can repurpose them on Facebook ads, for example, Instagram Reels, and see how well they perform. And sometimes they would perform really, really well. And this is the biggest problem that Nick faced in his early part of his journey, which was stopping him from seeing success, which was he was in bad habits. People that he learned from previously got him in bad habits. And when he started working with us, he realized that you have to operate on a higher level. And most people ain't willing to test loads of creatives, loads of different offers, because it takes up too much time and it can cost a little bit more money. Now, before I talk about warm marketing, because the strategy did change once we moved to warm marketing, I want to go over other platforms that we tried. So we tried TikTok. It didn't really work well for this brand. And that's because of the niche. The niche just doesn't work well for this brand. So we tested it. It didn't work. We moved on. And this is another thing that I want to go over. A lot of people are scared of testing platforms out because they want to stick with Facebook because that's all they know. So we tested TikTok. Didn't work. We tested Snapchat. Didn't work. We tested Pinterest. It didn't work. So now we know those platforms aren't going to work. Let's stick to Facebook and Google. And remember, whilst we were running all of these paid ads, we had a solid remarketing funnel set up through Klaviyo and through SMS Bump. And remember, you must have these both set up before you start running ads, because if you don't, you're not maximizing every dollar you spend. And again, I've made a whole video explaining how to set up your email marketing and your text message marketing, but I can't emphasize how important this is, because when I speak to people every single day and I say to them, look, do you have email marketing set up? Do you have SMS marketing set up? They all say no. And I say, why not? They say, because it's going to take extra time that I'm not willing to spend because I don't see it as an importance. So once we found the creative that did really well on Facebook ads and the offer, we just scaled that up using the same scaling strategies that I've been teaching you guys with CBOs, increasing the budget and things like that. Then we moved on to Google ads. So I said to Nick, look, Google ads is really good for your brand because it's high ticket and your brand's really good for Google. Now, most niches in dropshipping can be really good for Google ads, by the way, and that's what I'm going to be going over in a minute. So I said to Nick, you need to learn Google ads. I'm going to teach you, and the other mentors are going to teach you. And he said that I don't have enough time to learn Google because I'm spending all my time on Facebook, fulfilling orders. Nick was literally at one point of the business doing everything himself. And I said, Nick, you can't do this. You're not going to be able to get to the next level if you're doing everything by yourself. I said, you need to hire a VA to look after customer service, to look after order fulfillment, and you need to set up automations in Facebook to save you time, because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to get to the next step of your business. So after about a week, he then found a VA that he found from the Philippines to look after his customer service and his order fulfillment. Then he also found out how to do automations through Facebook to save him time. He then had more time to learn how to do Google ads. So I started telling him, and the other mentors started teaching him how to do Google Smart campaigns and how to do Google Performance Max campaigns. As you guys can see on the computer screen, this is one of the Google ad accounts that I've got for one of my e-commerce brands. Now, again, the same strategy we're using here is the same one that he's using for his business. It's just not his account. This is my account. So you can see here, we're doing here all products US, ROAS, QE. You can see here the name, Performance Max, US, everything else. So you can see that when we run ads or campaigns on Google, we are running campaigns designed for different things. So we're going to do all the certain amount of products for this campaign. We're doing all the certain amount of products for this campaign. So you can see we're doing performance max for this country. So we're splitting everything up to group them to see how well they perform as a grouped campaign. So for example, if you've got a store that sells menswear, group it up in one campaign to the US and let that go. If you've got women's, group it in a separate campaign, run it to the US in a separate campaign, see how well that does. You guys can see here by just looking at the names of these campaigns, we use Performance Max a lot because it works incredibly well for Google. And again, if I go to the next page, you can see more Google shopping campaigns being ran and more normal campaigns being ran. And this is to show you how much Google can be used for a drop shipping store. I don't know what it is with this industry, but a lot of people look at Google as not a good option for drop shipping products. And that is one of the worst mistakes you can make. I find that Google is one of the best, if not the best platform for higher ticket dropshipping. So if your product's over $59.99, Google is an absolute blast of a platform to generate some serious income. And that gets me back onto Facebook. So Facebook can work well if you're selling a higher ticket product and if you've got unique content. One, because you don't need to worry about the marketing costs on Facebook because you've got enough margin. And two, if you've got unique content, you don't need to worry about ad account bans. But I don't want to say this too much more. You want to try and move away from Facebook. So I said to Nick, as soon as we started to get into remarketing, because now we've got loads of cold traffic that's now getting converted into warm traffic, I said to Nick, look, you do not want to be using Facebook too much or relying on Facebook too much because of how volatile the platform is. 1 week you can be making a lot of money, 1 week you can be losing a lot of money. So overall, you've just broke even. So that's when we started to really incorporate Google ads into the business, because now he's only doing 20 to 30% on Facebook. And all he's doing on Facebook is remarketing campaigns, just retargeting campaigns. So people that have visited his website in the last 90 days, he just sends ads to those people saying, look, we know you've visited the website, come and claim your offer because you've seen our business before. So again, he only runs retargeting ads on Facebook now, and he's testing loads of offers. Again, the system doesn't change. He's testing lots of creatives and different offers for retargeting on his warm traffic to see which one works the best. Now he's using Google ads now to build more cold traffic, because the way Google Performance Max works is you have to give it around about 30 days for it to start to work really well. So the first few weeks of him using Google Performance Max, he wasn't really seeing much money. He was losing a little bit of money. And then near to the 30 days, he started to see a big increase because Google started to work out who his ideal customers are. And now it's extremely profitable. And unlike with Facebook ads, it's a lot more consistent, and he can know exactly how much profit he's going to make based on ROAS because of the sustainability of Google ads. And that's why I can't emphasize this enough. When you start to scale your e-commerce or dropshipping store, you want to move away from Facebook and start to only use Facebook for retargeting and keep Google for the main purpose, or TikTok. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be saying, well, what is the Google ad strategy? We've already made a video about the Google ad strategy, so I'll leave it linked in the description below. This is just to show you guys that this really works and you should be taking it serious. So guys, now I've given you a quick summary on how the journey went and how we did things from finding the product to advertising the product. We're now going to be jumping on an interview with Nick himself. So guys, welcome to the interview with Nick. We're going to get straight into it, not waste too much time. So what was Nick doing before e-commerce?
Right, at different jobs throughout my 20s. Before e-commerce itself, I was actually running the business alongside working as an account manager for a marketing company. So I was essentially a salesman looking after different clients in the web design industry and just making sure, you know, they were looked after, that we were achieving their goals for the year. So I started the e-commerce business whilst I was working for that company, but I've done a variety of different things.
You know, what made you start e-commerce and drop shipping? And more importantly, what made you choose this way of making money online instead of a different way you can make money online? Let's say social media marketing, affiliate marketing. Why did you choose e-commerce and drop shipping specifically?
Well, I think I'd always never felt like I'd fit into the conventional workspace. Do you know what I mean? So the conventional 9 to 5 or kind of living someone else's agenda didn't quite make sense to me. And I was in a marketing agency and a web agency anyway, and I just saw I saw what they were putting in profit versus, you know, what they were paying for things like cost of goods, and then they were giving me a tiny portion of that. And so I guess I was looking around anyway to try and do something on my own. And then I came across, obviously on YouTube, people just making ridiculous sums of money through e-com. And I thought, well, if they could do it, why can't I, kind of thing.
Now, let's talk a little bit about when you first started your dropshipping store, your e-commerce store. Let's talk a little bit about when you first started, the problems that you faced, the failures that you saw, your biggest pain points. And if you don't mind, if you don't have to answer this, but can you talk about some of the emotional journeys that you went on this year specifically that, some people might not even realize you go through, because people only see the success. They don't see the dark days. So if you can dive into that, that would be great.
That was the first thing. So you find yourself initially trying a few things out, trying to throw our store up and trying to learn how to market. And then suddenly you find yourself absolutely inundated with 1,000,001 things you've got to learn to be, especially at the beginning as a single solopreneur. So you've got to learn how web design works. You've got to learn how marketing works. You've got to learn how to design and Photoshop and stuff and video edit. And so that was an overwhelming set of tasks to do. So instantly I was chucked straight into anything outside working a normal job. I was working. And so that was the first thing that hit me like a ton of bricks. Secondly, I think with regards to failures, I think the main thing for me was you don't know what you don't know. So the first mistake was Chinese New Year. So I did realise I had to stock up, but I didn't realise that the delivery systems and couriers took a holiday as well. So I had stocked up inventory to try and counter Chinese New Year, and all the couriers had just gone on holiday, which means that I couldn't get stuff out to customers, and there was a huge kickback off of that. So that was the first major failure, I think, from my side, aside from obviously the usual stuff where you put stuff out there and it doesn't work for the first time. And with regards to emotional journey, yeah, I mean, it took quite a lot of blood, sweat and tears, I'll be honest. So it's one of the most fulfilling things I've done. No joke. But it was definitely a lot, and some things had to take a back seat, which made things very difficult. And again, obviously, I'm sure people could relate to this, is the mindset side of things. So you endeavour to do something and you've got self-doubt, and sometimes imposter syndrome when you get started, and all those wonderful things that are kind of eating at you, telling you can't do it. So quite an emotional roller coaster of ups and downs, actually.
Was there one moment throughout this year, let's say the month of April, the month of May, where you had a really... Because I always say to people, you're always going to get either one or two really dark months, and they're going to feel like it never ends. It's always pain. It never seems to want to get better. Did you have anything like that this year? Absolutely.
So there was a period of time where our product wasn't doing so well due to seasonality. And it was around April for about 3 months that it was catastrophic. Sales died down. I didn't know what I was going to do. I tried filtering more products into the system to try and make up the shortfall. I pumped a lot of money in that I'd made over Christmas into it, and I actually nearly lost everything. And I was actually super close to the wire. And yeah, I didn't think I'd be out of that. I didn't think I'd get out of that hole, really. I guess the pure persistence really was just because in my head I had no other choice, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that was really dark. That was I struggled majorly with that, because you make a lot of money to start off with, or a fair amount of money, and then you start tanking it all, trying to make the business work when it's not. It takes its toll.
Yeah, that's really, really, really dark. I can imagine a lot of people watching this, if they went through the same journey, which was the previous year, 2021, during Q4, you've made some really good money, really, really good money. And then all of a sudden you try and reuse that money in the new year, and it goes the complete other way. You literally on the verge of going broke again, back to square one again, and you've got to rebuild again. A lot of people would have said, you know what, maybe this thing isn't for me. It's probably a little bit easier to work a day job. Let's just carry on. So I watched you go through that. It was an emotional time. I remember I was with you on one of the days when, you were upset, and it was crazy because, you were so scared of the possibilities, and to see you overcome that is really powerful. And it's important, I think, for a lot of people that are watching this to understand that you ain't the only one going through these hard times. Everyone else goes through them. Now, a question that lots of people want to know when they talk to successful dropshippers is, how many products did it take you to start seeing success?
Apart from 5 years ago, where I started trying to sell some silicone spatulas off of FBA once, and then tried setting up a Shopify store, and I had zero experience. Actually, it must have been about 10 years ago. In actual fact, my first product landed, and for me, it was in a niche that I was quite knowledgeable about and quite a big fan of. Not that it's all about following your passions, but I think I could at least speak from an authoritative perspective. So, and the product actually served a need that I had and solved a problem specifically that I had on my journey as well. So, luckily enough, that product landed, and it grew from there, really. So.
And I also think, and I mentioned this earlier in the video, that the reason I think that your product was, the first one to do really well is because the niche that you're in is a very, very unsaturated niche in the dropshipping space. Most dropshippers don't even think of it. So I feel like that was really important as well for you.
I think so. I think it's a big niche, and there are many players in there, but there aren't many players that are doing social well or marketing particularly well. And so that gave us a chance to play in that space, I think. I think you're absolutely right.
You jumped into a niche where it was what I call the old money companies doing the traditional way of marketing with TV ads, banner ads. And you thought, wow, there's no one with the new behavior to come in and do Facebook ads, Google ads, and so forth, and top them off. So you really, really did a good job of finding that sweet spot with the niche you chose. Now, so the next thing I want to ask you is, what did it take for you to get your breakthrough moment? Like, what did you have to go through? What did you have to learn? How did you have to learn it to become a breakthrough moment? And what crossed your mind when you found that breakthrough moment to think, you know what, I really now have the skills to really do this, full time?
That's quite a big question, because I guess it's been over the course of the last 2 or 3 years of constantly learning new things. So I think there have been many breakthrough moments, really. Usually it's a compound of all of that work prior to that. Suddenly, you do loads of stuff without loads of feedback, and then suddenly, bam, it hits you. And then you realise that all those skills have paid off because it's been exponential. So I think the first breakthrough moment was... first of all, like I said, I just learned as many skills as I possibly could being by myself in terms of like media buying, Photoshop, video editing. And it wasn't until I picked up a bit of freelance work and my product started taking off that I thought, oh my God, I'm actually a fully fledged e-commerce owner and marketer. So that was a breakthrough moment, realising I had those skills. And again, with the mentorship side of things as well, I think because I didn't know certain information when I joined, results were just almost instant. And so there were 2 breakthrough moments. I think it was a skill set one, and then there was a more event driven one, which was mentorship, I think.
What made you decide to do a mentorship when you thought to yourself that, you've grouped up these skills, you can put them in action? What really possessed you to want to go down, the one-on-one, the mentoring and stuff like that?
There was a certain amount of trust and credibility there. I'd followed your YouTube videos and there had been some results. And probably following your stuff has given me the most results so far that I've had. And so I think I had a level of trust there. The motivation behind it was I just couldn't scale past a certain amount. So despite everything I had in terms of marketing knowledge that I gained and stuff like that, I kept hitting a ceiling in terms of what I could make per month, which was decent enough apart from that, that poor bit at the between April and August. But I'd made a certain amount a month and I couldn't break it. And that was just frustrating for me. And I clearly was missing something, if that makes sense. But there was something I wasn't doing to get it above it, because the niche was open. Do you mean there was plenty of demand there? So that's what the motivation was.
I think it's important for people that are watching this to understand that with the free content, the ECOM King YouTube channel provides, it's more than enough to get you to, off your feet, to start seeing sales, to start even being profitable. You can even start seeing some serious profits, But like you said, because the knowledge on this channel had to be taught generically to appeal to the masses, sometimes you need that, that niche down information where it's specific to you as an individual, because there's so many variables in it that could stop you from scaling. So I think it's important for people to know that this YouTube channel is more than enough to get you going, more than enough for you to start seeing some money. But if you really want to grow massively, you have to get that independent, special knowledge structured to just your business if you need to scale it. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, and they look at it like, oh, why would I want to do that? It's extra money. What's the point of the extra money? And that moves me on to the next question, which is how much money in revenue and profit would you say you've made in the last 3 months?
Revenue, I've made 500 grand in the last 3 months. Most of that has been more towards the closer period of time. We just kind of shot up and up and up and up. For example, to give you an example, I think we've done 70k, I think, in profit just this month, I believe. So like. Yeah,
hold on, stop there for a second. Stop there. $70,000 in profit.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's like a doctor's wage. That's in the 1% of income earners, dude. So
yeah, it's life changing. It's absolutely life changing. We've made an absolute packet. So
yeah, you know what? Every time you phone me and you've got a cheeky grin on your face, I always know what that cheeky grin means. So yeah, it's crazy to think, just over the last few weeks, 70,000 in just 1 month, and people have people have the courage to say online that drop shipping's dead. You can't make money. You can't do this. You can't do that. So how would you say the mentoring, and not just the mentoring, but how would you say e-commerce and dropshipping has changed your life? How is your life looking now to what it was looking like before?
Question. I think e-commerce has changed my life in general because I see the world totally differently. There is a different game that is played by people. I think we get caught in this conventional bubble of you have to have a 9 to 5, you have to work a certain amount of hours, get a house and get married and stuff like that. And finances are a certain way, and you just take your little bit and then save a bit of money and stuff. And I just look at it the whole thing differently, because I look at finance differently. You now move larger sums as cash as opposed to having cash in your pocket. So from an e-commerce perspective, business-wise, it's changed the way I look at the world and the game that we all play. Yeah. So the mentoring, again, it's just you don't know what you don't know. And so you said about obviously problems being specific to the business, but I also think it's so many moving parts and you get tunnel vision. So you need someone to come along and pick out those little bits that you're doing. And I didn't realise the importance of having a strong offer. It was massive for us. So I had one set price on my single product, and that was kind of it. So making compelling offers was a massive thing for us. And upsells and cross sells. We were doing some upselling as well, but not to this extent that we're doing now. So we had to try and increase the average order value.
But how much creative testing are you doing now?
Oh, we're doing tons of creative tests. Like I tested creatives, and I got a really nice piece of winning creative and really good interest to focus on. But this is like next level. Like we're testing tons, and even those creatives that we're testing tons of hooks against. To try and find, perfect ads for scaling, like really, really good perfect ads that make the most out of your spend. So it's about increasing your average order value to try and spend more for the customer. And then it's also making the best creative possible with the best set of interests possible to be able to really go and scale that. So, I mean, we test loads. I mean, we'll have another 10 hooks and 5 creatives going this week.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned in the video. I mentioned that you're doing like 10 to 20 new creatives every single week. You're just blasting them out. Now, this moves me on to something important. So whoever's watching this right now, I don't know who it is, but amazing that you're watching it. Let's say they've tried drop shipping for a few months, maybe even a few years, because I remember you did FBA 4 years ago. Let's say they're trying to do it. They've tried, they've failed, they've not seen any success. Now, knowing what you do know, what valuable short information or advice would you give these people that could potentially cross the line for them to start seeing the success they want to see?
I think a lot of people, and I hope you guys don't fall into this trap, are event driven. So they're waiting for a big bang, lottery ticket, silver bullet win, for something to come along and change their lives. And sometimes, like you said, it's not as sexy as that. It's more process driven. Sometimes you'll work out a lot of stuff without a lot of feedback straight away. And persistence is really key through that, because in actual fact, you're creating more value than you know. Because in actual fact, all the stuff that you're building and you're working towards are skill sets you're building. Even the failures are teaching you things. And And so that can very easily put people off if they don't find results instantly. And what I would say behind that is that you do get results in the form of skills, firstly. So you're never starting from scratch again the next time you start. So from that side of things, I'd say persistence is key, and learning the skills. And mindset is important. It's not always sexy. Like, I walk around the island like with my goals, my affirmations almost every morning, and I am drilling that stuff in. And you need to have a strong mindset, because naturally we are veered towards the negative where we're trying to avoid pain. So you really do have to drill it in. From an e-commerce perspective, I'd be, and I guess it's a life philosophy as well, I'd be, like I said, upskilling is really important. Carry on doing that no matter what you do in life. Building your network is really important as well. Go and find people that have done things that you haven't, that you want to aspire to be towards. Find other entrepreneurs in the space that are also doing what you're doing, so you can learn from each other's mistakes. I mean, that's really important. You know yourself, the access to a network has skyrocketed what I've done. By myself, it took me years to try and hone these skills, whereas knowing people in the space that have made similar mistakes, or even different ones you can learn from, you just grow so much quicker because you learn quicker.
That's what I'd say. If I was to say what made you so successful from watching you, would be you're not scared to get into uncomfortable positions. So you're more than happy to go to networking events. That's where we first met each other, at my London meetup in October of 2021, the free one I did. You came up on your own. You wanted to network. You networked with people. You found a business partner even when you went there, which was amazing. That is crazy to think you met a random person that you're now doing business with, which is insane. And the other thing is just the way you work. You're relentless. You don't take no as an answer. You know, even when things get tough, you still carry on. It's the belief system. I think your belief system is one of the most powerful things you've got. And if people are able just to get some of that, they're going to see similar things.
Same things as everybody else does in terms of self-doubt, and even motivation can wane sometimes if you're worried you're not going to make it. But I think for me, I don't give myself another option. It's just even when the world is crashing around me in the e-commerce space, it's kind of like, well, I'm doing this, and that's it. There isn't another alternative for me.
So let me ask you this then. So let me ask you this, because this is going to be powerful now, how you answer this. If your store was to collapse tomorrow, you went back to naught, would you carry on, or would you give up, or would you find something else?
You know, I mean, like if let's say if I lost everything tomorrow, I'd have to try and find capital, and so if I had to get a part-time job picking up some freelance, I can do that and stuff to have the capital, but I'd still be working on that.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people that watch this don't understand that cash flow is so important. And if you haven't got a full-time business, you need to be a freelancer. You need to get a job, even 2 jobs, to get the cash, because there's nothing wrong with working a job, and there's nothing wrong with having multiple jobs, because that gives you more cash and it increases the chances of you seeing success. So people need to really understand that. And people just think, you know what, I'm going to give this business £1,000 or $1,000, see how it goes. And if it works well, it works well. And that moves me on to the next question. Sorry, the next thing that I wanted to ask you, which is to clarify, are you now full-time with your e-commerce store and dropshipping store?
Yeah, full-time in the business. Yeah, all time.
I didn't even need to ask you. You didn't even need to respond to that verbally, because your own facial expression, as usual, answered that one for me. So, Nick, thank you so much for your time today. So, guys, that's the interview wrapped up. I hope you enjoyed that interview. I hope you got loads of value from it. And more importantly, I hope it's helped you understand that everyone goes through the same journey that you're going through. So in your personal life, things can go wrong and they can affect your business life. Everyone goes through the same thing, but it's about who can manage it and who can get through it are the ones that end up winning. So I hope you've enjoyed that interview. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you motivation, but more importantly, I hope it's told you guys that everyone can do this as long as they're willing to sacrifice what they're willing to sacrifice to get to that end goal. So before I end the video, guys, I just want to quickly mention the mentoring program, because that is what Nick used to see the success in his business. He went through a few different mentorship programs with us. So if you want to apply for the mentoring program, there will be a type form in the description below that you can use to see if it's made for you and which mentoring program is best suited for you. So that will be in the description below and in the pinned comment, and there will be limited availability for these programs. programs because we only take on a certain amount of people every single month and every single quarter. So if you do want to do it, make sure you're quick before it runs out. Now, I want to make this very, very clear. Everyone that's a mentor in my company are previous students, because look at it. Nick is going to be a mentor in our company now because of the success he's seen and because of his personality. So this just shows you guys that everyone that works in our mentoring company are people that we've worked with in the past, because they can teach you the skills that we've taught them. Now, if you don't want to get into any mentoring, then I'd recommend that you guys watch the free course that's going to be dropping on the 1st of January 2023, because it's going to go over absolutely everything for you, and it's going to be hours long. Now, if you haven't watched the previous free course for this year, then you need to watch it, because everything is in that free course. You just need to take action. And most importantly, this video was to give you a key summary on what made Nick so successful and the journey we took, and all of the key ingredients like Google ads, Facebook ads. I've got independent videos teaching you how to do them. You just need to connect the dots, and I've made your life easy by giving you these free valuable videos. And I hope you guys have learned loads of little gems on the way, like testing different offers out using A/B testing on landing pages that other people aren't willing to tell you about. So I hope you've learned a lot from this video. I hope it's motivated you guys, and more importantly, I hope it's still giving you the belief that Shopify dropshipping isn't dead, it's not going anywhere, and those that are willing to sacrifice are the ones that are going to make it in this business.